guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm filming my January anti-haul video. So if you guys are curious to hear some of the makeup that I decided to pass on in the month of January 2021, then just keep watching. If you guys are new to my channel, welcome. My name is Karen Harris. I like to film tan girl friendly makeup videos here on my channel. So if you like anti-hauls, will I buy it, first impression videos, this is the place for you, my friend. Go ahead and subscribe to my channel and turn on that bell so you are notified every time I post a new video. I usually upload every other day, so you do get quite a bit of content from me, and I would hate for you to miss it. So without further blabbering, let's get into it. So if you guys are wondering what is all on my face, I did film this makeup look for my channel already. I am wearing the new Urban Decay Wild West palette. Definitely an eyeshadow palette I didn't think I was gonna buy in 2021, but that's neither here nor there. Everything on my face, my hair extensions, these earrings, I will go ahead and link everything down in my description box. Anywho's, I do have my handy dandy YouTube notebook with me. I did take some notes of all the makeup that I anti-hauled. Some of this was really easy to throw on my anti-haul list. Some of it was a little bit tougher. Okay, so I'm gonna scooch on over to the side so I can throw out pictures here. The first thing I want to talk about is the new Dominique Cosmetics Transition Eyeshadow Palette. It has 15 shades for $48. Now, I do have quite a few Dominique Cosmetics eyeshadow palettes in my collection, and unfortunately, they're just not my favorite formula, which it's not the end of the world because I need another eyeshadow palette like I need a hole in my head. This one is a pretty easy pass for me. I like the marketing concept. It's basically an eyeshadow palette that you can use as blush, as setting powder, as a contour, as a bronzer, which I think is really nice. And I think she chose a really great shade range. So if you are light, you can still use these shades. If you are a little bit deeper complexion, I think it would still work for you. I did see Tina, the Fancy Face, had picked this palette up. She did show swatches on her Instagram, so if you guys are curious, I would head over there if you have a deeper skin tone. I personally am passing on it, so that is why I'm featuring it in this video. So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is from Pat McGrath. It is the Divine Rose 2 collection. So she launched a few repeat products, a few new products, and I was pretty adamant that I wasn't going to pick up the Eternal Eden Quad, which is a $58 eyeshadow quad that she launched. I honestly feel like I agree with the rest of the makeup community. I feel like Pat McGrath has kind of beaten the rose theme to death, as we would say. I really love her brand so much, but I'm getting so tired of all the pink mid-tone shades that she keeps launching and the pink leaning neutral shimmer shades. I would really love to see her do something different. So it was pretty easy for me to pass on the quad. I also have the Divine Rose 10 pan eyeshadow palette, so I wasn't planning on repurchasing that. I was planning on skipping the Ultra Glow highlighter, but I don't know, I was kind of tempted, and I saw my friend Ash from Dr. Ash and Her Makeup, I think is her YouTube channel. She was showing this on her channel, and then I was like, okay, let me just get it. It's so cute. And I really like this one so much more than her holiday highlighter. The holiday packaging does feel very bougie. This is probably the heaviest makeup product I own, like especially when it comes to compacts. But I really like this one because it's lightweight. I like the pink, and I like the product in here as well. I'm actually wearing this highlighter on my face today, so it's nice. I don't know if it's $48 worth of nice, but I am kind of glad I picked up something from the collection because I am a big Pat McGrath fan. So as far as the rest of it goes, I did end up passing. The next big launch of January 2021 was the ColourPop Animal Crossing collection. Now, I'm trying to be very mindful of the things I buy from ColourPop because I feel like what ends up happening when I purchase from ColourPop is I'll buy it. It always comes in like way later than I think it's going to. By the time it gets to me, it's a little too late for me to film a YouTube video on the product. So it just kind of accumulates and accumulates and accumulates and never sees the light of day on my channel. So I was very tempted by the ColourPop Animal Crossing collection. Don't get me wrong, there were some beautiful blushes. They had some beautiful quads. I think they did lippies, glitters, the works. But I decided that, first of all, it was probably going to be super impossible to get because when ColourPop does something like this that's a limited edition, it's so hard to get a hold of. Things sell out, people go crazy, And I'm okay with sitting something like this out so somebody that's a real fan can actually get it. My husband plays Animal Crossing. I never got into it. I feel like between work and YouTube, I feel like my schedule is so full. So he's the gamer in the family and I'm the YouTuber. So I have seen him play the game. It looks very fun. I totally get the appeal, just not for me. But yeah, I'm kind of glad I skipped on it in the end because I feel like I have a lot of the same things to say about ColourPop as a lot of other YouTubers do. I feel like the blushes are kind of getting tired because they kind of launched the same mid-tone pink and peach shade. I love a good peach blush, but there's so many brands launching so many beautiful cheek products that I feel like ColourPop doesn't really stand a chance. I would much rather purchase from a different brand that's doing something a little bit more unique. So I'm passing on that collection and I just wanted to let you guys know. The next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Hourglass skincare line, and I believe it is called Equilibrium. Equilibrium. Sounds weird when I say it. Anyways, I saw a little bit about the brand on Trendmood, I think, and I think maybe I looked at it on the Hourglass website, but oh my gosh, when I saw those prices, I was like, let me just show myself out. Thank you so much, Hourglass, for inviting me to your party, but I don't have a month's worth of makeup budget to buy one of your skincare products, so thank you so much. I'm gonna go back to my pharmacy over here and stay in my little lane. Don't worry about me. Good luck with your skincare line. Thank you so much. So it is very, very pricey. They do have some interesting sounding products, but like I said, it's very, very pricey. I don't mind spending a little extra on skincare, but the thing is I can find more affordable skincare that works. So why would I spend more money when I already have a skincare routine that works for me? So it was an easy pass, but let me know. I know some of you are bougie. Did any of you check out the new Equilibrium skincare line from Hourglass? So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the Suva Beauty Toppers palette. So I feel like this is a eyeshadow slash highlighter palette kind of hybrid situation. And basically what they did was they had this palette that they launched last year sometime, and there were 4 beautiful like topper shades in the palette. So I guess the owner said they were getting a lot of requests to turn the toppers into their own eyeshadow palette because a lot of people already had their favorite colorful mattes. So that is why they created this palette. And it looks really beautiful. Honestly, you guys know I love Suva. They are a Canadian indie brand and I think they make some beautiful things. But I feel like I've already seen this palette before. And as much as I want to support the brand, I just don't need more iridescent highlighters to sit on my shelves and do nothing with. So I'm passing on this, but I think it's beautiful and it retails for $35. So I feel like that's a good price point. I do believe Suva is sold on Morphe's website. So if you don't want to order directly from the Canadian website, I think you might want to keep an eye out on Morphe because you might be able to find it there. Okay, let's quickly talk about the Hourglass Ambient Lighting Volume 2 palette. I just want to know what Hourglass was thinking when they launched this palette. I got so excited when I saw this because the advertising really made it look like it was going to be tan to deep skin tone friendly. So of course, without doing enough research, I bought it and I was so excited. And then I was watching a live stream and the person was saying how these shades were actually all repeat shades from the Hourglass line. It was nothing new. They were repackaging some existing stuff and trying to promote it as very deep skin tone friendly. And I typically enjoy Hourglass, but even I can't really excuse this kind of foolery. I do feel like they were intentionally or unintentionally misleading their customers, and I think that's a little fucked up. Like, I really hope Hourglass learned their lesson from this particular palette, because it's okay if you're still working on things that are more suitable for different complexions, but I feel like it's even worse when you kind of try to scoot around the problem. So I really hope to see them do better in the future. I think their products are so beautiful and everybody deserves to experience them. So Hourglass, if you see this video, can you please get it together and make some deep skin tone friendly products? I don't think it's their entire line, because I do think they have a decent complexion range, but when it comes to their powder products, I feel like they are lacking. and I feel like it's right for people to call them out. So I feel like this was horrible, and since I had already ordered it, I emailed them and asked them to cancel my order, but they said they couldn't cancel it because it had already shipped. So then they sent me a return label so I could send it back. And once I got it, I was like wondering if you guys would want to see a video or not. And I had asked on my community tab, and it was almost like 50-50. Some of you said do the video, some of you said don't do the video. Personally, I decided to not do the video because I was so mad. Once I saw it in person, I was like, excuse me, I spent like $78 on this stupid palette. So I sent it back and I got my refund. I'm very thankful to have been able to get my money back. I was very disappointed in Hourglass that day, so I really hope to see them do better. Anyway, let's talk about the MAC X Sims collection. This is a 9-pan palette for $32. Now this was also a bit of a controversial launch because lots of gamers out there really like The Sims, and I believe from what I've heard, Sims is supposed to be pretty colorful. Apparently you can like give your character pretty out there makeup and things like that, which I think sounds really fun. And from what I can tell, watching influencers that play The Sims and also talk about makeup, and when they saw this palette, I think their reaction was pretty priceless. I just feel really bad for MAC because I feel like there are so many things that they really pushed the bar up for other brands, especially with how inclusive they are and things like that. But when they launched this palette, which is basically a palette that already exists, and then they're like, oh, well, this is the Sims palette. And it's like, no, bro, you've already had that palette. You're just putting it in blue packaging with the word Sims on it, and you think we are gonna not notice? So I thought that was pretty funny because the person that pointed it out to me that it was an existing palette was Amy Loves Makeup. She's like, they already have this palette, the exact same shades, like they didn't change anything about it except the cardboard box that it goes in. So I thought that was pretty disappointing from MAC Cosmetics, and yeah, it was an easy pass for me. Okay, let's talk about the BH Cosmetics Garnet palette. Now, I feel like BH Cosmetics is really having like its moment. They're like the new popular kid on the block. Everybody wants to be their friend. Everybody wants to have their locker next to BH Cosmetics and wants to go to all the BH Cosmetics parties and wants to sit with them on the bus. But this series, I feel like I'm seeing all the warning signs go off, especially because, does anybody remember when they did the Zodiac palette collection? I was one of the clowns that decided to collect the Zodiac palettes, and even I ran out of steam sometime in the middle of the year. I was like, you know what? I can't do this anymore. I can't do this anymore. I want to have the collection complete, but I keep spending money on these palettes and they're kind of awful. Like, I really like BH's big formula, but the color stories were really missing the mark. I also didn't like the packaging. I will say the Birthstone series seems to have a little bit better packaging going for them, but other than that, so far I've seen Garnet, and I think they just did Amethyst, which is February. So we'll talk about February in my February anti-haul, but so far it's not really catching my attention. So I'm gonna pass because even though it's only $9, I feel like I would rather take that $9 and put it towards something a little bit more exciting. I did recently try the BH Cosmetics travel series. They did a Lost in Los Angeles palette. That one was pretty nice. Again, not as nice as the avocado toast or the blueberry muffin or the sweet shops palettes. So I feel like BH had a fabulous year in 2020. So I'm expecting to see some really good makeup in 2021. And so far, I don't feel like they've stepped up to the plate. Okay, the next thing I'm anti-hauling is something I almost bought. Oh my goodness. I literally saw the e.l.f. Mint Melt collection at my local Walmart. And let me tell you, this display, it was so beautiful. I put it on my Instagram and I was like, oh my gosh, e.l.f. is about to get me. I grabbed the 2 eyeshadow palettes. I grabbed some other stuff. And I literally walked around all of Walmart with my dad because he was doing some like last minute shopping before he head back home. And I was like, oh my gosh, like I need this. I'm going to do a video. My audience is going to love it. And I was like, Karen, get a grip. You have so many things you need to review for your channel. Put it all away. Because here's the thing. I love drugstore. Don't get me wrong. It's not as expensive as high-end or luxury makeup. But it still adds up. Even with a $5 eyeshadow palette, you buy 2 of those, you buy 1 drugstore foundation, and you're already like $30 in the hole. So I decided to put it all back, but oh my gosh, that collection really got me because of the cute packaging. So I'm very proud of myself for walking away. Now that I walked away and I don't have the collection with me, I don't regret it at all. And I just went to Walmart yesterday with my husband and I couldn't find most of the stuff that I had been attracted to. So I was very happy to walk away from it, but I totally get it if you guys went nuts for that collection because it's affordable, and e.l.f. has typically been really good for me in 2020, so I expect nothing less in 2021. If you guys picked anything up from that collection, let me know your thoughts down in the comments, and I'm especially curious to hear what you guys think of that new CC foundation they launched. I think I heard that it's a dupe for the IT Cosmetics CC cream, which didn't work for me. I've tried a few different colors. I think because it has so much SPF in it, it tends to go gray on my skin tone. So I've made peace with the fact that I can just never use that particular product, but I would love to know if you guys have tried the CC foundation and what your thoughts are, because it's pretty affordable. So if I hear that it's really good, I may be tempted to try it, but I'd love to hear from you guys first. So the next thing I'm anti-hauling is the ColourPop Lunar New Year collection. Now this is something that I would love feedback from, especially if you are somebody that celebrates Lunar New Year. I had asked about this on Twitter and I didn't get a lot of feedback, so I'm very, very curious if there are anyone that follows me that celebrates the Lunar New Year. What do you think of Lunar New Year type products? Like, I really would love to know what your thoughts are, because I can't speak for somebody that celebrates the holiday because I don't celebrate it and I really don't know all the significance of the things behind Lunar New Year. So I would love to hear your thoughts. Like, do you feel like it's more of a gimmick to get people to buy makeup, or is it something that you kind of enjoy? From what I can tell, the team at ColourPop that worked on this collection, it did look like they celebrated Lunar New Year. So the one girl that was in like all the Instagram commercials was talking about how she liked to celebrate the holiday and how much thought they put into the design and stuff. So I personally thought it was beautiful, but I can't speak for somebody that celebrates the holiday, so I'm very curious. They had some beautiful eyeshadow palettes. Honestly, I wasn't into them because they were so neutral. But man, oh man, I wanted that highlighter so bad, but it sold out so fast, so I didn't end up getting my hands on it, which is totally fine. I just, in general, want to know from anyone that celebrates Lunar New Year, do you feel like the makeup in general with the red packaging is just kind of repackaged junk that they're just trying to get people to buy because they're excited about the holiday? But I do that with Christmas. Like, sometimes if something comes in special packaging just for the holidays, I'll still buy it. Like, I don't care. I don't think that like personally bothers me, but I would love to hear if that is the same for Lunar New Year. So definitely let me know down in the comment section. And as far as the ColourPop collection, I do think it was well thought out, but it's just a personal pass for me. Okay, here's something again that I really, really wanted to try, but I was like, nope, you don't need it. Walk away. So Rare Beauty launched their first collection of 2021, and it is the Stay Vulnerable collection. So they had blushes, eyeshadows, and glosses, and this was like a monochromatic collection. So they had a eyeshadow, a gloss, and a blush in similar shades, so you could do a full look with the similar tones, which I think is a nice look if that's what you're into. I definitely have to be in the mood when I'm doing something like that, but I think it's a really cool idea. So I really wanted the cream blushes in like the worst way. Those were the most expensive. They were $21, and then the eyeshadows were $20 and the glosses were $18. And as much as I wanted to try the cream blushes, I had to have a conversation with myself and be like, Karen, you don't need any more cream blush. I'm actually trying really hard to use some of the cream blushes I already have. Sometimes powder blushes just get me because they're so much easier. I don't have to like clean the brush and things like that. You know, with powders, you can kind of layer stuff and it doesn't disrupt your makeup and things like that. Whereas with cream, I think you have to be a little bit more careful sometimes. So on a daily basis, I definitely tend to favor powder blushes, but man, oh man, these color stories were so beautiful and so many people were getting the beautiful PR packages and it looked like people were really enjoying it, but I did end up passing on this collection and it was definitely hard for me to avoid putting something in my cart and checking out. Okay, let's go ahead and talk about the Lime Crime Aura and Glory eyeshadow and face palettes. So this is kind of an interesting product from Lime Crime. I have really grown an appreciation for the brand over the years. It was definitely a brand I wasn't into at all, but slowly but surely I found a few products I like from them. I definitely don't buy every launch from Lime Crime, but if it's something that calls to me, I will definitely take a look and see. So they launched these two palettes called Aura and Glory, and they are supposed to be like face and eyeshadow palettes. I did see Tara Babies haul these and they looked really nice, but honestly it's not something I'd be into. The Glory palette has like purples and blues and stuff like that. I could never see myself putting those on my face, and yes, they make beautiful eyeshadow shades, but I don't need any more blue eyeshadow. And then the Glory one had some beautiful yellows and stuff like that, but a lot of the shades looked very similar when she swatched them, so it's very safe for me to say that it was an easy pass on that. Okay, let's talk about these bougie brushes that Beautylish launched. So this is the Yano series by Beautylish, so I'm assuming it's some kind of brush set that they kind of source, kind of like their Good Molecules line. It's like an extension of the brand. So these look really cool. I believe the full set is almost $500. I was telling Rail about them and he guessed. I was like, how much do you think these are? And he's like, $500, and I was like, I think so, but I wasn't sure, and we looked and I think they were like $475 or something like very close, and I was like, realistically, do I have $400 worth of eyeshadow and face brushes in my collection? Probably even more than that. But when you see that total and you are supposed to buy like a whole set in one go, it makes my heart like pitter patter really fast. So I don't need any more brushes like that, and I couldn't pay the price of a high-end bag, like a semi-luxury, like a Michael Kors or a Telefar bag on brushes. So it was an easy pass for me on that. Okay, so here is another Lunar New Year eyeshadow palette that I'm passing on. So BH Cosmetics launched this beautiful palette, and honestly, the thing that tripped me up about this palette is it looked very private labeled. I don't think this is one of their private label palettes, but the black packaging really threw me off, and I was like, oh no, BH, like you were doing so good with all the beautiful custom packaging, and then you made this one that reminded me of BH from like 2015, you know, when everybody was buying them because they were so affordable. And so I decided to pass on it. Well, guess what? So far, I've seen nothing but positive reviews on this palette. It's sold out everywhere. I think you can only get it on the BH Cosmetics website, but I refuse to pay for shipping. So I believe my friend Kara C has a review on it, and it looks so beautiful. I think I saw a few other people I know play with the palette, so I would say if you are into the color story, go for it. I feel like it's a little too late for me to pick it up now, especially as a YouTuber. I'm trying to be a little bit more selective on what I buy, but oh my gosh, those green shades, even some of the pressed glitters look really beautiful. I know it's not everybody's cup of tea, but I was pleasantly surprised by the look of this palette, especially once I saw it swatched. It looked way more pigmented than I was expecting, so I'm definitely bummed that I didn't pick it up, but it means I get to anti-haul it because I'm not gonna buy it, even though it's pretty. Okay, so this palette I feel like definitely deserves to be featured on an anti-haul. Not that I was planning on buying this thing, but the fact that Tarte just keeps cranking out palettes like this really can be quite surprising, especially because like I get it, like people love neutral palettes, but even if you just like a basic neutral palette, that's fine, but maybe consider something like this. This is the new Naked Wild West palette, and I'm actually wearing this on my eyes today. This is a really nice palette. Anything other than this palette, this is the Tarte, the Juicy Amazonian Clay eyeshadow palette, and it has 20 shades for $45. I feel like this palette could have been a 5-pan palette, and you definitely didn't need to spend $45 to get these shades. You could have just bought a drugstore eyeshadow palette and you would have achieved a very similar look. I get it, people love Tarte. I get it, I love neutral shades too every once in a while, but there are really nice, well thought out, affordable neutral palettes out there. ColourPop makes some beautiful neutral shades. Actually, let me show you guys these because I actually bought some of their neutral palettes to recommend to you guys. So I am planning on doing videos with these potentially if it's something I get a lot of requests for, but I've already shown looks with these on my Instagram. So I did grab one of these $10 palettes. This is the Lyric palette and it's really nice. I wore this on my eyes. I've worn the Wild Child palette multiple times on my eyes. This is so stunning, especially if you have a medium to deep skin tone. I think you would really enjoy this. And I also grabbed the That's Taupe palette. This one's been out for a while and I've heard a lot of YouTubers really rave about this one. So I thought this would be a fun cool tone option for viewers of my channel. Again, very affordable. I think I grabbed these all when they were on sale. So I think each of these palettes was like $9. So realistically, I get it. Everybody loves a good neutral palette, but I just don't think that explains this palette and why Tarte made it. Okay, let's also roast the Morphe Sweet Oasis palette. Now, I actually don't hate this color combination. It does look really pretty, pink and blues and purples for Valentine's. Like, that's right up my alley. I just feel like Morphe is just so inconsistent that it's hard to recommend stuff from them. I would be curious to try this palette, I'm not gonna lie, but I feel like $25 is a little bit more than what I want to pay for a Morphe palette, and I haven't bought a Morphe eyeshadow palette in quite some time because, again, it's one of those things where I just never get around to playing with them. I've picked them up in the past, and I feel like I just don't get enough use out of them, so it's an easy pass for me, but yeah, I don't know. I just feel like this color story is just so been there before with Morphe because they do so many big palettes and I would really like to see them spend more time developing collections and really give time for things to kind of circulate in the beauty community and see more videos on them and stuff. But realistically, none of the people I follow on YouTube actually buy Morphe, so maybe that's a me problem. Maybe that's why I haven't really seen a lot of Morphe recently because nobody I follow really talks about them, and honestly that's okay with me. I definitely love their liquid lipsticks. I have a ton of their brushes because at the time when I started getting into makeup, that's really all I could afford, and they've held up pretty decently, so I'm not gonna knock them for making affordable brushes, but this eyeshadow palette's just kind of a little bit of a snooze fest for me. Okay, I feel like this is a bit of an unpopular opinion, but I'm anti-hauling Glow by Auric by Samantha Ravndal. Now, I know there's many of you out there that are so excited for Samantha Ravndal. A lot of you really like her channel and things like that. I watch her on and off. I don't watch her very, very often, but I feel like there's definitely a lot of die-hard Samantha Ravndal fans out there, and I get it. She has beautiful skin, she's got a really chill vibe and things like that. As far as this first launch, I feel like I've watched a decent amount of videos on it, and from what I can tell from the videos I've seen, a lot of people are really enjoying the glow product, like the highlighting product, but it seems like a lot of people are having trouble with the eye duos. So the eye duos retail for $39, which I feel like is so pricey, and I get it. Like, she is a luxury type brand and things like that, and people are comparing those to like Tom Ford, but the thing is, Tom Ford is a luxury designer brand and they've spent a lot of time developing that brand, so I feel like it justifies like the price because they have retail stores, they have to pay employees, things like that, whereas I'm not really sure that Samantha can really make that same justification. Like, she hasn't spent years curating this brand. She hasn't had to sell and put her gondolas into like Nina Marcus and Bergdorf Goodman and things like that. So I don't really see like the whole influencer trying to make a luxury brand. I mean, if somebody can run the numbers on it and tell me why it makes sense, that's totally fine. But I feel like $39 for an eye duo is a little bit more than I'm willing to spend, and I would personally rather put my money towards indie brands like Terra Moon and Davina and things like that. I don't know. I just feel like saying that it's a luxury brand, like, I get it, but I could come out and be like, you guys, this is my luxury water bottle. Like, this water bottle is a premium water bottle. I'm gonna sell it for $100 because I decided that this was a luxury brand. You know what I mean? So I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm not really sure about that, okay? I'm just gonna say that part, but yeah, it looks like the eye duos are kind of a flop from what I can tell. It seems like people are really liking the glow product. I think somewhere down the line, I'd be very curious to try it, but it's not something I really want to go out and spend my money on. That product is $45. And I recently got the Charlotte Tilbury version in like a sale that Sephora had at some point at the end of last year, so I really can't justify buying more glowy products. Plus I have a bunch of other glowy primers and stuff like that, so it's a pass for me for now. But if you guys actually purchase the product, will you let me know your thoughts? Because I'm definitely curious to see what you guys think. Speaking of Charlotte Tilbury, I do want to anti-haul her hyaluronic lippies that she launched. So there are 8 shades for $34, and I saw these being shown when they launched first on her website. People were picking them up and they were really excited. And don't get me wrong, I love a good tinted lip balm, but one of my goals in 2021 is to try not to buy too many lip products. I feel like I have so many good ones. I get sent lip products in PR. I still have my Proper Beauty lipsticks that I want to wear. And then I recently showed you guys some lipsticks that DD Signature sent me. So I just have so many beautiful lipsticks. I have my Tower 28 glosses. I have my Lime Crime liquid lipsticks. Like, I'm all set for lipsticks. So I'm going to be passing on these, but they do look so cute. And her packaging is always chef's kiss. I'm still waiting for the Fire Rose Quad, okay? Listen, if you guys see that the Fire Rose Quad is back in stock, I'm going to need you guys to do me a favor and DM me until I respond and say, I've picked it up, don't worry. Because this is one of my biggest regrets of 2020 is not just buying the Fire Rose Quad when it was available. I choked and I didn't buy it, and now I regret it every single day. Okay, so the next thing I want to talk about is a new collection that Pixi Beauty launched, and they actually launched 4 palettes, and all 4 of these are collabs. So they did a lip palette for $25, a contour palette for $25, that's 9 shades. And then they did an eyeshadow palette with 25 shades for $24, and then a highlighter palette with 9 shades for $18. So I saw these at my Target and I was like, oh, that's interesting. The eyeshadow palette looked kind of boring. The lip palette was very red heavy, so I couldn't see myself buying a lip palette anyway. And then the contour palette looked pretty nice. I think you could definitely use it on multiple skin tones. So it's definitely not something I personally felt like I needed. And the highlighter palette looked really nice as well. I have recently watched Teresa's Dead talk about her Pixi highlighter because she did like a top 10 highlighter video. And I was like, ooh, maybe I should consider picking up the palette. I did see it at my Target the other day, but I decided to buy jewelry instead. So I didn't end up picking up the Pixi highlighter palette. But if you guys have had good luck with them, will you let me know? For now, I'm anti-hauling that entire collection because I just don't need it. But it is fun to see new drugstore makeup. I feel like there's been so many fun releases at the drugstore. Every time I walk into Target or Walmart, I see so many new things. So it's very, very exciting. But for now, I'm passing on the new palettes from Pixi. Okay, guys, the last thing I feel like that deserves a nice roasting here on my channel is the Dragon Beauty, the Fantasy Eyeshadow Palette for $30. And this is 5 shades. I almost want somebody to buy this palette and make a video so we can hear about it, because I am curious about the quality, at least, if not the color story. And it was so funny because I think so many of you roasted this palette along with me, but there were a few of you that did say you like this color story. So I'm very, very curious to know like what this palette would actually perform like. I don't myself follow Nikita Dragun, so I've never seen any of her products really in action. I do remember when she first launched her brand, a few people were using like that color corrector on their skin, and a lot of people said it was going to work really great for beards and stuff like that, especially if you're like doing drag makeup. It helps to have a shade like that to cancel out any darkness from like beards and facial hair. So like I get that part of it, but this eyeshadow palette just looks like a very, I don't know, I don't want to say amateur, but it kind of looks like play makeup and kids makeup. I feel like the criticism this palette is getting is kind of warranted, but I would love to know, would any of you out there actually spend $30 to get this 5 shade eyeshadow palette so you can actually try it out and tell us what you really think? I would be so curious. If there's any videos like that out there, let me know, because I will watch it and check it out, because that's how curious I am about this whole situation. Okay guys, that is it for my January anti-haul video. Thank you guys so much for checking this video out and hanging out with me. Let me know what products you anti-hauled in the month of January. Let me know what your favorite makeup products that you picked up were as well. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in my next video soon. Bye guys!